Mr. Parnas himself has made it clear that we have no doubt, we should have no doubt, that the claims of corruption are lies and conspiracy theories rooted in a Russian effort to undermine our democracy, posted to a Russian language website over a decade ago. This is exactly what Putin wants. And over the years, Republicans have kept moving the goalpost. You just look at the past year, right? First it was a bribe. Then it was Burisma, nothing. Then it was Hunter Biden's laptop, nothing but some like nude pics that we keep seeing here. Then it was supposed money laundering scheme that turned out to be a family member making a couple of car payments. And now Republicans on this committee have left the pretense of a crime behind and are moving the goalpost to influence peddling, which sounds more like what former President Donald Trump did in his time in office. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The claims made against the President of the United States have been so completely proven to be lies that even House Republicans now are admitting that it's time to close this case. Mr. Parnas, I have a few questions for you in limited time, so I really want to try to get through these. And I just want everybody to know, especially people watching at home, that you're like one of the most credible witnesses that we've had throughout this entire impeachment inquiry. First off, I just want folks to know, for people who aren't familiar, can you tell me who you were working for between 2018 and 2019?
Rudy Giuliani and Donald J. Trump.
And to be clear, you answered to Rudy Giuliani?
Yes.
You answered to Donald Trump?
Yes.
Directly?
Directly to Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. When former President Trump and Rudy Giuliani flew you to Ukraine to look for corruption on the part of President Biden, did you find any?
No.
And following your Ukraine trip, Senate Republicans, Senator Grassley and Johnson, released their Burisma report, which the New York Times concluded was, quote, unproven allegations that echo an active Russian disinformation campaign, end quote. Mr. Parnas, are the unproven allegations that are at the heart of the Republican report the same fabricated claims that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani sent you to Ukraine to go dig up?
Yes.
Last summer, you wrote a letter to Congress noting that when the media started to get tired of the smoke screens and using this, one of the authors of the Republican Burisma report would be your, quote, guy in the Senate to push all the information, end quote. What did you mean by that?
Senator Ron Johnson was our guy in the Senate. It was told to me that when we push the information, he's going to push it in the halls of Congress.
So when the media was getting skeptical about pushing disinformation after they've proven it wrong time and time again, the plan was to have a U.S. Senator, Ron Johnson, to push that disinformation even further.
Correct, because we had Congressman Nunes already doing it, so Senator Ron Johnson jumped on board.
This Congress, both Chairman Comer and Chairman Jordan, have centered this entire sham impeachment hearing on an FBI tip sheet. This tip sheet made wild claims about bribery that didn't even come close to being backed up. And in fact, it's all being proved to be one big lie. Mr. Parnas, is the allegation in the FBI tip sheet based on the same fabricated claims that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani flew you to Ukraine to dig up?
Yes.
I also want to make it clear that the informant allegedly behind this tip sheet is facing criminal charges for lying about the Biden family and was a known fraud for years before that. The same fabricated claim kept popping up and getting smacked down over and over again. In fact, our colleagues at the Foreign Affairs Committee did some amazing work on this investigation and found that this lie dates back to December 2015, almost 10 years ago. Do you happen to know the article that I'm referring to?
I don't know the exact article, but I do know that the slide has started way back in 2015.
Started about 10 years ago. It was an article entitled, quote, The Ukrainian Scam of the Biden Family, end quote. And it was posted to a Russian language media website registered in a city in Russian-occupied Crimea. Mr. Parnas, do you have any doubt that this fabrication claim, the claim that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani sent you to Ukraine to try to dig up more information on, is part of Russian propaganda and an effort to destabilize Ukraine and undermine our democracy?
As I said here today, I have zero doubt that Russia's involved. This is a Russian campaign to interfere in our elections.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it from someone with firsthand experience. Look, to recap, there's no evidence that support allegations that President Biden engaged in corruption in Ukraine. We know this. We've been laughing a lot about this, calling it theater and a sham, which it is. But I also want to bring up that this is really serious.
Yes.
I mean, we have members of Congress and this committee using Russian propaganda meant to undermine our democracy, to undermine our president. It's not just theater or laughable, but it's a betrayal of our democracy.
It was very serious, Congressman.
Yes.
Chair,
I yield back.
time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Boebert from Colorado for 5 minutes.